timi enyemu chefa wenum ne nsema hodo bi ene yabo ano ano pay ye de ebesom mo midin de krese do ayemfa bre na yemfa kase ni nchiremu ento amoso. Electricity Company of Ghana ejegu omu chim ni nyina se na nsan prepare ne fonfon adoso e wo man Ghana emu a Ghana fo dodo no adwene eye yense eye dumso ne yakane anu ntimi nyina so ye dum ha ne ekira ne yaso ha na eno bi na ekoso na nso ECG fo so omunyi ntum se ye dumso e na ekoso na emom fidie ni bi na ho atochew e na wo mu sie nti ye dum sie na emom enye dumso na no na kane so afo anu ohwe nyina mahoden so Dr. Kwabena Donko ekire mu se ECG fo kane sa na sebe aso wan hye dan fabuo ama omanfo no na wokeka kyerɛkyerɛ se ebribia etwemu anaso se de ne kanea ne egina so ane ye nyina ye nya bie no eno abesene ko se de 600 megawatts ena enso eno nti ye ntimi nso ma emu ni nyina de ebrekro no a o se edum baabi na baabi fo nso etimi nya kanea na no so ye ka ECG fo enyi ntum o se sa de we ono ote ase enye yi
happened yesterday. It's the same happening today. And yet, even in labeling, if it was NDC, it was low shading. If it's another party, it's something else. Let's be consistent. We are shedding in excess of 600 on some days during peak. In excess of 600. And the export, the shedding of export, we don't even bring it in the picture. If we were to bring the export in the picture, on some days we are shedding 800 megawatts.
Na enu achi no Dr. Kwabena Donko panyin a woda Africa Center for Energy Policy ASEPA no eyora Bemboache ono so kasa bi kire mu kire se na nsan prepare ne fonfon a ekoso no emu nsam no ano eden.
In this space at some point even 50 megawatt we have demanded timetable. So for 300, 500 megawatt, it would be hypocritical for me to say that. I mean, the most importantly, if there's no timetable, what happens is that everybody else is at the discretion of gridco operators. So they sit in the control room like here, and they can see all the feeders in the country, and they have fun. This one goes up because I don't have enough. That one goes up. So they can decide that one place will go off multiple times because there's no plan for it. And that's what is happening. So gridco decides who should go off.
Ye free one money abesen akotema ene ne takrade woni ekra neoma edeba oman emu ene woni ye containers ho adwuma ye importers and freight forwarders a wotema port ene Ghana Shippers Authority kanene Shippers Council wakeka won ho a wochirim se wode bo foforo eba esan se ne computer na ye nya asa nti ama neoma ne besi port ho no mo a se ebe ye ho adwuma bobo ne ye si cashless ne de ye adwuma ye fa sika nkasa nkonkotua ne mo bibia ye mobile money ene account so e wo phone so no ama neoma no abbo pi so a omu ntimi nyi ena wode ababonten wonioma wo container so si ho cha na ye charge ododo esan se asase na esi so no betua rent e de amaban na no ne freight forward si wo mu kuo no de panyi baako ya wo tema eye raba Paulina abrokwa wakasa de nsem bia to dwa se saa e ka we de yesese so wo na ntua na kwaye se de emu ayeya esan se internet no aye basa no nya Ghana woni ekra ne o mafira broche na amana ye ente wo sa ban ne so ehu o momobo kakra na wo ye bibi de bo awo.
Most of the service providers resorted to, especially the shipping lines, resorted to manual means of releasing our consignment. One area that was really bad was the bank, where we were unable to pay duty, at least as a Friday. So once you are not able to pay, you cannot continue with the rest of the process. And so as of this morning, we are still monitoring the situation to see whether, the banks have found an alternative for us to be able to pay the duty. But for this morning, we envision that since the announcement has come that we are going to be in this for the next 5 weeks, I'm sure that most of the service providers will find a way to alleviate any delays that will come, and for which reason there will be things like demurrages and the rent and the rest. So this morning we are monitoring the situations, particularly with the bank and then with the terminals and then the line. There are at least alternatives, so-called like permanent kind of alternative for the next 5 weeks. And loss in terms of increments in the cost of doing business, because every delay you have a ripple effect. So at the ports, you are likely to bear demurrages, rent, and storage. And then we are hoping that with the situation, at least some of the service providers like the shipping lines, the terminals will be considerate.
Ye free watu aso eda so ginemu e won kran potamo na IMF International Monetary Fund panyin a wono na hwe ebibrem ha Ghana nso ka ho eye raba Kristalina Georgieva ene wakasa de nsem bia to dwana sem nyina ne kire se artificial intelligence na abaye na computer digitalization wi ase nyina de bi di dwuma no ye ma ye ni koso se oman eye Ghana asem na meka yi a ebetumi aboa yan sesa nneoma bebre ni e de aman ama eka a emene yen ene nneoma yentumi nhihye ne yiye wo man Ghana mu no e wo yesika asem no ebetumi aboa papa wo se nei wiase aman nyina ekọ nanim a wiase enyini e wo sa kwan ne so covid-19 echi no edinyansasue bia bre nipa ya nei abrofo no ehihye won nneoma a wo kire se ebehwe se asetena emu yedie mpuntuo ebeka obi anti se de wiase no etumirika no ma man Ghana enye ne hu nka akire ye de AI ni bi ye adwuma a ebeboa abiebie ekwan kora ma mabu na nya adwuma nye no omo atimi enya bi se de oman ne efa ne ntoma pefra no na emu nipa nso di yi.
We can see 4-5% productivity gain if we go forward with artificial intelligence effectively. So this is my first point. We desperately need something that would inject more dynamism in the world economy. Second, we also need to recognize that the scale of impact of artificial intelligence is gigantic. When we looked at the labor market's impact over the next years, in advanced economies, some low-income countries, 26%. So this is like a tsunami hit. We have to think how we can make the best out of it, prevent artificial intelligence instead of source of good to turn into a source of inequality, misinformation, deep fakes, distortion in our lives.
Yetu aso akọ ensem foforo mu a ye kodoma empotamo a teacher fo wo ho aka won ho abomatikuo ye doma area teachers cooperative credit union ene wo nam sa computer sem ne artificial intelligence ne digitalization common so amene wo ye ne bank mua na wama obia wo to susu ni bia na so wo account ni bia no wabebiem ene wo de fa computer so asede daachi bi no ene ma betimi akoyie na pani a woda adwuma no ano eye datku ekuo no Philip Wusu agei ene yensem twofo twetwe nkomo no de to dwa se de wiase kɔ nanimu e wa bɛfo kwan so no omo mpɛ se obɛte won ho akachiri titiru se wo ye teacher fo na wo mo na ɛkyerɛ mo frade
sesia no wiase no kɔ nanim bibia ye abɛfo technology datku yeso so yakofa USSD aba eno so so ubetumi de mobile phone ene atonkra bia transaction bia pɛ se wo ne ye bia obetumi e de aye wo pɛ se wo diska to account mu a hia se wo bɛfo ka abaye bank ho ana so pɛ se wo yisika ba bia ugina bia at any time utumi aye transaction e account mu code na ye *248*234# obo code na so wuni account we nchen a obetumi e de abie new account and our account nso so a eno nso so no e be ma akwan bisa wo account number obo wia na wa choose secret pin a o de be your transactions wa wie no sa no o pese o transfer ska every one account to another account nso so a sa akwanya no wo ho se e bia o pese o check your balance nso so a akwanya wo ho a obetumi de check your balance at any time nim say na adwuma 70 no nipa ni adaje obi wo kra o te adwuma mu adaje a obejai obenya se o de ba betena banga ba be queue no in fact stressful ntia yakofa we nso so aba nso say ye nso so no ye members no be hen mo
na yetu aso ransom foforo mu a pani kwankyerefo a woda National Technical and Vocational Education and Training TVET NTVET madam Mawusi Nudeko Awiti ene woso wabo aporo anenam technical and vocational schools ahodo ni bebre emu wo bono east mantam no emu sesi ano si TVET makomaku num ene wo bono east ye yenkwa aben technical institute enkransa technical institute kejeji technical institute Tachiman technical institute na fake ntampo ya chese bontam ne de ene no mo hwere di kan na wo bo aporo no a wo wie ye no na wo ne teacher fo ni bi ni mpanyimfo ne baako ura baako de apia kubi omonante wie na madam Mawusi echire mu kire se de wabehunu no nani age na wahunu nneoma nso aya coincide obroni se challenges ya ewo technical school no eho na ne nyina mu no obebɔ modern se de obehu ye no de bekɔkɔto mpanimfo anim na mo nso abɛyɛ nsakraye ewo ho.
What has actually brought us to Bono is familiarization tour for me to familiarize with the schools challenges they have, inspired and to encourage the students. It's important to know the state of affairs. So I've come here so far. I've visited 4 of the schools. I'm really highly impressed of the commitment. Some of them who have volunteered to teach. For me, I see it in the right direction. You have the traditional leaders, the community members, opinion leaders, very, very much now involved in TVET to see to it that they get quality TVET. This year, we are hoping anywhere I go to appeal to the communities and the opinion leaders and all those who matter that the growth of TVET is everybody should be involved. In the near future, I would want to see a lot more of our graduates setting up their own businesses and then being used as mentors, or they availing themselves as mentors, and then the state would be involved in supporting graduates of these TVET schools with startup kits.
Na wowie ye no na waka nsem wowie na ode to aso se woni adesuafo ni bia won Kransa Technical Institute akohia ma watietie ni oma ha wo mo na waka ni nyina no wono so etu omofo se wo wie school amon kwotena se mfa won san kwhye wo damri fam entwen sa ban beba be bia adwumade ama wo mo wonim de a wabegye no famfi bibia ase na wo mo nso mfa nipa na emoa wo man no.
To tell you that the best thing that you have done as students is to choose a TVET school. We know the situation in this country. We have so many of the youth, many of them are unemployed. And then they go back and form associations and say that they belong to Unemployed Graduates Association. But you must know that you are the movers and shakers of this economy. You are the people who solve all our problems for us. Everything that we have around us is TVET. What you are wearing is TVET. What you are sitting on is TVET. What you eat is TVET. Everything around you is TVET. TVET has to do with taking a raw material, taking something and then adding value to it and making it available for patronage. And so you came to school or you are in school to learn, but what is very important is the soft skills, which I deem as the employability skills. What manner of student are you? Are you the kind that parents want their children to be your friend? Every parent wants their children to be very proud of you. Now, as students, to be of value, to establish your own businesses, cottage industrialization is the way to go. You set up your own businesses. You are being trained. 2-3 years after school, I'm looking at you setting up your own small cottage industry where you can employ a lot more people. Even if you employ one person.
Yefri wono na yedaso agina mu school nsensem ho ne yebese akotepa. Panyi oye principal or that Tepa Nursing and Midwifery Training College ano ewo Ahafo North Municipality mu ye Dr. Albert Opoku. Ene wo de college ni anamo a wontumi ntu nko wanim. Eni nyina e de ahye obroni se infrastructure. Eni oma wonie dormitories, dining hall, classrooms, eni nioma ebeboa manka watumi afa desuafo dodo no. Eni woni bi entiama ho kiraba. Wo se afi etwa mu no. Eni pampemiensa 3,000 applicants ena echro ya nka womo ebe school ni mu nenso mutimi fa mu 1,200 pe enam ba bia mofra beda na adesuafo beda ene ho ehawo. Dr. Opoku di nsemi to dwabra wo ya amane nyina na woje woni aba first year ebe ye nursing midwifery ene de keka ho nyina to mu ye fa ne se matriculation no ebi.
They run 3 programs: registered general nurse, na registered midwifery, and health assistant clinicals. The can student admit 2023-2024 academic year in Aboma and 1,002. 535 general nurse and 218 midwifery, 249 health assistant clinicals. Continue 3,100 students. Then so facilities na intimi admit and that 3,000 no qualify. So there facilities be brea. You bet me admit more, but see I know the intimi admit be brea. Nti hwese afia ebetimi say I improve infrastructure na kwa e bia na ntimi ansan fa ni pasadi nti hwese ye betimi aboa na ye classroom ne hostel na I expand
na Dr. Mananso Wara otu adesuafo ne fo se ekwan omanya ana opportunity owanya omo de yetumi afa wo mo no omo mo ani nkwa no so se ne bi munya asa bia nkwa mo beye na nso omo ti anya yie na wonfa wadesua ani bre so ye practicals afa ho hyem bi ba bia ye kɔ ne bibia ye bia wo yire ho na wo ye bia wo bewie no na wafam na wapass ne kama na omo ne Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology na hwebom enu nti graduation ne de afi bia omo beye bi ya Kenya University mpanimfo ene omo certificate ɛne ɛde bɛma wo
Tuomufo kwan ombefaso ehia ene se omukọ clinicals hospitals ekoye ejuma kwan ombefaso ene patients ene omo abusuafo nso ebe di nkita ho nti omo no na afutu a yede ma omo school no ye programs miensa diploma general nursing na diploma in midwifery eno no ya na ye ne KUS for affiliation nti omo no de ya no mo wi school omo ye graduation ema omo na ye na students no health assistant clinicals omuni graduation bia amoye nti program ye di she mu so say be graduation amom enso nti free afi kono ye bia no say graduation ema ye NAC students
ye to aso asan akobunu mamu biem na we de ye kɔ Nkransa South and ne North NDC amanyoko achitafo ewo hɔ ne wakohia kɔgye ntete kwampa obetimi afa so na afi de da won so campaign na obeyire won ho aye no aton won candidate omampani dada Jo Mahama na woni won potamo atimi atobie ne duru hɔ awato abama wonum no wakoye ho ntete woni ba asantete ya sibie constituencies ahodo ni nyina mu akasamafo communicators afi mantam ni nyina mu ene empanyimfo da no women organizers woni frefre doma mabunu youth organizers ene party ni mu empanyimfo na Buno Regional Communication Officer NDC Ora Charles Akua ono so kasa bi woni ensem training di nkomo na pia kubi eno di tu dwa se wo botaye si wani so ene se wo mu a wo hu gidie safi de ye wo mafe na enso bibie ni wa eba kwa gise wo yire ho na ye ho adwuma
eso utimi di MPP ni NDC candidate no eto fence senior so na mu pu omo ho nkonta. It's not about I belong to this party and I'm a party when and I'm a party but me okwa or the physical way brem kranza a benefit your man for nina nemum yanchiche sika emfa man krofo nshi omubotum na enkyere se omo som kranza man dia enka je kumni enka wato man nina but ye kan ye okwa ode mfaso brema ne ka omanfo nyina nya ne wache bibia gu party entina me encourage ye krofo ne say research into the wealth and the value of your candidate. What kind of mama value? Your mama communications, digitization. When the name say NDC LA more than 1,000 fiber optic cables from the Greater Accra region through OT, Volta region, and the NET 5 northern regions. Government to a commission and sana joma me ifra ko but no control radio so you keep all these things nkofo be hu nia waye internet 4G and nkofo use na ye move to 5G no the foundation is John Mahama the opponent on in 2024 about me onko kan say ma so o ma sign agreement private agreement 77% na ne ono practical waye ade no ene wa sign agreement a private man na ye na Vodafone dey o me cable free aburichire fapum ba wona ade bae
na enu achi na ora ageni mboaten yo ye Nkransa South Communications Officer NDC amanyoko ni mu nso kirem kire se campaign de afi wo ma wi ata so obeye pa na wo mu hia communicators e be kasa yie onipa ne kasa obekasa ne betimi aton candidate no ni nyina nso omo ye ho ntete e de ama wo
ye hwe season ye wramu ya dru political season and I say campaign season ya dru season on as politicians do okumutan na o say campaign a ye de call election 2024 na yenzo nyina nim say ye dawo na yebo it is a nipa betumi I convince no matter yensem asia na hia effective communication yehia nipa omobo de rense kwan mo fa so tie nsem na se e na all topics e be say the 24-hour economy and others that is your strengthen your communicators ti be nyina ne se ye ba power nsem ba ne ye ka che Ghana for more magia to me ye ba power that is all training we nyina dia ewum no enunti
ye free wa konkran aboso kan spare parts dealers association ekuo yi krakra car spare parts yi echem se mampani dada jo mahama beka bibi de akere mo se wo the fixed rate ebuo bi beto so a spare parts o mbekra de fra brocha baga na man mu nyina no nya de a beka se ye we ni hu container de wom ansa ne agye obo wo ba ye fixed rate de ye gi e no eno na ye beji bi na no na boso kan spare parts fo ekire se mampani dada asam no etosomu na ombepe bre no mo ne na hia no akire mu yie de akere wo mo na panyi ba ko a wo ho no mo owura tachi ado ya ono na hwe nkitahudie wonsem so ma boso kan spare parts fo yi akasa kyerem se fixed rate ne de ba ebeboa won papa ma wadwuma akọ n'anim
ya se wo kwakofo ne ma wo wuma so mo se ye wo ha commissioners wa yo embassies wa mo boa ye so ye boa mo na edu en kwa so ye kom kwa mo se emfa sika pudo se betu account ni ma sama ma visas na se sika no so sa sika na ne sesa ye de kofa ne ma no sa sika na demo aye $50,000 a ho equivalent le demo as a cedis no me da ko tu visa na se ma me visa within 2 weeks 2 weeks mo fa visa na me e ma 2 months 3 months masa aka kye me say invitation am do no as fine because time say mo issue visa mo issue visa no scan mo si dem sa time na dollar na 10 cedis 11 cedis 12 cedis na dollar na should go 30 14 na sa sika na dem $50,000 unya biem e fa nkonko for nyama ne ba ka say wo kro mu nya 60% e fi Korea na be say mo gisa sika we na wo bu adwuma no
na eno achi na ra gift na anafia no ya ono ne general secretary ma aboso kan spare parts fo ikoi enso da na disa mampani da adwoma ama se ode nhyehyɛ foforo bebe siesie aboso kan aboso kan redevelopment na eno nso ne kwan mu ano
edwane wa ha no aboso kan market edwa ye mpanyefo mu de kan no mo tete ne kakra na ne abaye edwa kese ma West Africa na usha adaya sisi ha ayenkrofo sweat na omudia ye Japanese sisi ha na se obai se o tuye fi ha binyanom ne dikan ye nyina ya kanfo emi se wonim nyina ba ya adwen se ye ntudwa ensija ukokro bia so a o se o edwa dada no mko wanya bia akọ ni wanu abenya bi se obama ye tapa fufuro na nyina ya ko pako ho na dwa no moda ho infrastructure bi bia be standard ye mbeto
ye free woda so agina mu NDC nsensem emu a ekuo bi a wo mo kire so the members of friends of Professor Jena no Poko Ajiman wa santimantam ni titiri kumawu empotemo baako abrante baako a wo de baso a waka nsem bi ma ensem no egu Professor Jane anana asegu ne ho fi odi ne mfie na ya asem de aka sai wa ya bre wanti nkonko tena fi no hwe ne nananom na no na ekuo no chiame baako a odi Isaac Swansea echem se running mate Professor Nana de omuta na chi den 2020 elections a NDC for ko ye no omugiri se obaye nsakraye bi wom entitru ene ono ani krom ne mpotamo mfimfim mantamu eno ntiafi omugire mo de ne ba
de tiani se anopa imisa baso bi a ifiri se ofiri kumawu emra don the money mahama ball na be de akire Jena no Poko Ajimadin no abrante misa baso e be kan sam kakra bi fa ni mfi a wadi ho se maame no wanyini eno ne afra maka chem se eyensem a ehuhia eyensem a anya no na party ne hwehwe panifo apotena se Jena tum adon the money mahama de ba no obi enu waka asem bi afa no e kire se unanimously no ya Jena tum eti se okwhye baby na be discredit na o discredit na ne se amfanfa so bi ama na de can say young friends of Jena no Poko Ajiman they can say yenim de maame no otimi ye 2020 general election yenim sania vote and this nyaye ye de baby ofikra di adanse a central region yenye betima di adanse say parliamentary seat na e ho no ami adawroma yetimi increase ni yie pa otimi say numbers so a eto aba edema John Dramani Mahama no eno so etimi course etia de ye okenye tia na yasema ye kan say asate region nyina ye gini tumprekope woye maame enim say wono edi tambe bomba ni diemu no watwe mba ni vote ni nyina beka John Dramani Mahama ho
ne krakra mu won sam foforo mu no de otu frank ama NDC mampani dada John Mahama Korea wa hyebo se ema ekuhodo ya oyesika sam dwuma women owned financial institutions ni nyina se woto aba de ma no na oba obesakra niemem amema sika sam so adiye.
The next NDC government shall bridge the gender gap in financial inclusion It is worrying that the gender gap between females and males continue to widen, notwithstanding Ghana's level of financial inclusion. For example, according to the Global Findex report, in 2014, the financial inclusion gender gap was 3% more male access than female. That is even at the service end. I'm talking both at the service end and within the industry itself. This inequality gap increased to 8% in 2017 and went up again in 11% in 2021. This trend is unacceptable and needs urgent attention if we are to put Ghana on the path of sustained and inclusive development.
The Bessia na ya sorry so Ebusian for the Obuan Simiano over Sambet and Fide Chief Chinchim Nifu Mama me a si Buama. Menso me ye Pesmakani Kenkaima Mumidin de Cressy, Ram de Musia, na Edi Juma Kenya Ediatomus, Menabunina say, Mamwachi.